What up, everyone? This is LeetCode 5, longest palindromic substring. We are given a string S, and we are to return the longest palindromic substring in S. So just real quick, if we had a string, let's call it A, B, C, C, B, D, E. In this case, we would be looking at this as our palindromic substring, because obviously a palindrome is something we can reverse either way. So BCCB and BCCB. Back to front, it's the same thing. Cool. In terms of code, this isn't actually too difficult. So we'll move straight into it. To begin with, so we will be declaring a function later on, but for now, I think it may be easier to understand if we write out the main bit of logic and then we declare our function afterwards, right? So first, we're going to do an edge case, right? So our edge case is just going to catch anything, any empty strings. So in this case, if S is null or s.length is less than 1, that should have this. Then we're just going to return empty. Oops. Cool. So that's just our little edge case. Next is we'll declare the indices for our longest palindrome substring. So we're going to have, we'll just declare this as start equals 0 and end equals 0. We can actually, just to make this one less line, can do that. Oops. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Cool. So that's that. So now we're going to use a for loop. And in this for loop, a traditional for loop, we're just going to call, we'll run the logic. So before then, we'll just do an I is less than s.length, and we'll increment I by 1. And then in here, we want, so obviously palindromes can come in different lengths. They can be odd or even. And so we're just going to have to take, write an integer that will be either odd or even. We have reserved for odd or even palindromes. This is the function expand, which we'll be writing later. Hopefully it will make sense after we get through the rest of this. So we'll just pass in I plus 1, not 2 plus 1, because of, so this is our odd length palindromes. So odd, this is for our even length palindromes. Cool. And then we just want to compare our palindromes, see which one's longer, right? So in this case, we're just going to have int len equals math.max len1 and len2. Cool. And yeah, so now we can write our if statement, which will update our start index and update our end index. So in this case, if len is greater than end minus start, then we want start to be updated to I minus brackets len minus 1 divided by 2. And we want our end to equal I plus len minus divided by 2. There we go. Cool. So after our, so outside of this loop, we then will be returning our s.substring substring, and in here we'll pass in start and plus 1, and the plus 1 is for our indexing, because indexing starts at 0. Cool. these will be passing in the indices, obviously, as we've declared here. So now we want our expand function, right? So in this expand function, first we'll just declare it. So private int expand, which will pass in a string. S will pass in our integer left, and we'll pass in an integer right. So what we want to do is essentially move, because palindromes are identical either side, right? So if I open up our thing again, because this is identical either side, right? What we want to do is that, let's say we have our left pointer sitting here, or sorry, our left pointer sitting here and our right pointer sitting here. We'll be comparing these two, right? We'll be comparing these two. These should be the same. And then if we move the left and the right over, well, B and B should be the same. So that would then mean that we have a palindrome of length 4 in our string. So our substring palindrome would be BCCB, which equals 4. So what we want to do, well, it's exactly that. And then obviously if we moved on to this D, for example, we would then know that, well, D and B are not the same, or D and A are not the same, and therefore we only have a length of 4. So in terms of our code, to make that bigger for you, that's what we aim to achieve with this expand function. So we'll use a while loop that'll say that while left is to the left integer, which we gain from from here, right? While left is greater than or equal to 0, and where's my n? And right is less than s dot length, and s dot char at left is equal to s dot char at right. Oops. Right. Oops. So yeah. Then this is correct number of then we want to increment or decrement our left by 1. So we want to move over to the next character in our substring, and we want to increment our right by 1 to move to the right character in our substring. And then what we want to do outside of the while loop, once that finishes, is that we will return right minus left minus 1. The minus 1 is because of the indexing. And so when that is fed into this, we then figure out our lengths, right? For our potential palindrome. So as this loops, so obviously this will start from 0, left can't go anywhere, right can, so we'll then end this, start this again. This will be now starting at 1. Run this again, check left, check right. Okay, maybe there is a palindrome. Fine, end this, run this into, this will then start at 2, left, right. See what I'm saying? So hopefully that made sense. Let's see if this submits and that there's no errors. And look at that, nice. Normally this returns a better memory, so let's try to submit this again. But yeah, you know, decent runtime. Oh, the runtime and memory got better. There we go. Anyway, decent runtime, decent memory. Hopefully that explanation made sense. You know, if it didn't, leave me a comment. Otherwise, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.